Okay, so I was looking through one of my ammo cans and I've got all sorts of stuff in here, but I came across this. It's HotShot 223 Remington. There's a problem with it though. It's steel cased ammo. It's not something I would normally buy, but it was cheap and I think I was in a hurry. And I was at Cabela's and I bought it for like $7 a box, which is pretty good price for 223 ammo for target practice, but I've heard all sorts of horror stories about the steel casing. So I guess we're going to try it. I'm going to keep it to one magazine only, so if it does any damage to the magazine, I only have to replace the one magazine. I know people shoot this stuff and they get away with it, so I'm curious as to how bad it could be. So I've got 100 rounds of it here. I think I'm going to take it up to Capital City Gun Club in Little Rock, Washington, and punch some holes in paper. You know, save the free world, promote democracy, one shot at a time, that sort of stuff. So anyway, I'm going to do that, and I'll let you know what, if anything, it did to my magazine.
Okay, here you can see the target that I was shooting at 200 yards with. I shot all these shots shooting at the center diamond. You can see that some of it was high, some of it was low, mostly it was high. My left to right was off a little bit. I can't really blame the ammo for the left to right being off. That's me. But anyway, this is what the target looked like. I needed a way to show exactly where the shots landed so I could plot out how well the ammunition did. And the way I did that was I took a look at the target, and if you notice, each square is about an inch, and each little line is about 1/4 of an inch. So I took the halfway point between them as 0.125. And that gives me a resolution of about 1/8 an inch. I measured everything out and recorded everything in a spreadsheet in Microsoft Excel. I then plotted it back out as a scatter plot, which gave me this picture. Now if you look at it, obviously the picture isn't 12 inches tall by 10 inches wide. I mean, that's just not even accurate. But the measurements are correct, and even though it's a little squashed, those measurements did end up exactly where they say they are. So this is a digital representation, albeit not to scale, of where I shot the other day. So when you slap all that data into Excel, there's a lot of ways you can look at it. I could have looked at it as a capability study, see what I'm capable of holding. Can I hold it within a 2-inch square? So much wobbling around, I really didn't think that was going to be a good comparison. What I wanted to do instead was take a look at the amount of variability side to side, because that's most assuredly caused by my bad shooting technique or just being a feeble old man and wobbling around. The up-down stuff I figure is probably a combination of my bad technique and any sort of overcharge, undercharge on the ammo. So my thinking was I could take the amount of variability that I had side to side, subtract that from the amount of variability top to bottom, and whatever's left over should be the amount of variability in the ammo. I came up with about 25% variability, meaning that my shots would vary 25% more top to bottom than they did side to side, which is interesting. Another way to look at the data was to put it into a box plot. Now this box plot on the x-axis shows you my side to side. The way the data is presented here, the bottommost X is the leftmost shot, and the top X is the rightmost shot. So there's about an 8-inch spread on them. If you look at the blue box, what the blue box is indicating is that's where the bulk of the data was. With that little X inside of the little crosshairs, that little crosshair inside of the blue box represents the average for my data. So that's where my left to right axis was at, and I'd say it's pretty close to being centered up. I'm not a terrible shot, but I had some shots that were off to the left and some that were off to the right. If you take a look at the y-axis, the topmost X is your highest shot on the target, so it was 5.5 inches above center, and the bottom X is about 4.5 inches below center. What's interesting is if I'd had the same amount of variability, I would have expected a box plot that would look very similar to the x-axis, but we don't have that. What we've actually got is the bulk of our data, the blue box, on the y-axis is actually above the 0 mark, meaning that this ammo tended to shoot higher. The blue box being above the center line shows that this ammo shot high at 200 yards. My scope sighted in at 100 yards with the elevation marking for 200 yards. All the shots with the elevation marking at 200 yards came out exactly here. So this ammo actually shoots a little bit high. Okay, so I went to the range and I shot up a bunch of this HotShot Remington 223 ammo that I bought by mistake. It was $7. So how did it shoot? Well, the quality control on this stuff really isn't that good. I had shots very high, very low. They seem to jump up and down at random. I don't think they have very good process reliability when they're charging these. Some seem to have more of a charge than others. I've talked to other guys, there were a couple guys at the range while I was up there, who told me they'd gotten a box of them. They were actually blowing the primers out. So I don't know that I would want to run these in my gun. The steel case didn't really seem to be an issue. I'm not running them a lot in there. I ran 100 rounds through it. I checked my rifle, the MP, and she seemed like there was no real problems with it. I'd read that some people were concerned about running these because they have a steel case through their Magpul magazines because they're plastic. Fact of the matter is, yeah, steel's harder than plastic and it can do damage too, but then again, so is brass, so that doesn't make any sense at all. I didn't notice any damage to any part of my gun. There was no part of the weapon that was damaged by running this stuff. It's just crappy ammo. I mean, it's $7 for 20 of them at Cabela's. You probably can get it cheaper than that if you live someplace where it isn't crazy expensive like Olympia, Washington. I know you guys in California are laughing about this, but most of the time your ammo will shoot pretty clean, shoot pretty too, but not with this stuff. You buy it, you're going to be all over the place. Granted, I'm not the world's best shot with a rifle. I'm okay with a pistol. Apparently I'm not that good with a rifle. At 200 yards, you can look at this and you can see that my side to side is not terrible, but I'm all over the place, up and down. And I really believe that that is because, especially this, you look at this, these guys are all right kind of in a 2-inch band, which I'm pretty happy about at 200 yards. I'm okay with that. I don't see so well. I'm an old geezer, you know, it is what it is. But even with that 2-inch band, I should not be having this much variance at 200 yards. My scope sighted in, everything was clean on it. If I use my regular brands of ammo, this does not seem to be a problem. Still, it was an awful lot of fun. I got to shoot 100 rounds of really cheap ammo, $7 a box. Not a terrible price for it. Would I buy it again? Probably not. I really want to be able to hit what I'm shooting at. This time the ammo was for fun, but who knows, maybe at some point in time I'm going to need it. This stuff for $7 a box, I mean, yeah, it's good plinking ammo. You want to go out to the range and haha, look at me, I'm shooting. Yeah, it's good for that. It's not going to be every shot on target. It's not that kind of quality. I don't know that I'd buy it again. I mean, I guess if I found it really cheap and I wanted to just go and blow some stuff up, okay, yeah, it's like 4th of July, woohoo, look at me, I'm shooting. But if I needed to depend on this ammo for my safety or the safety of the folks I care about, I definitely wouldn't use it again. I would spend the extra $3 a box and just get something that you know is going to work, it's going to be more consistent, the quality control's there, and it's reliable. That's what you want in ammo. It's got to be cheap, available, and it's got to work. Bottom line, it's got to work. That's why we buy this stuff, right? So, HotShot ammo, I'm going to say buy it if you want to, but understand you're kind of getting a pig in a poke with it. It's not very high quality stuff. I mean, it kind of is what it is. But hey, if you want to buy something that should blow the heck out of a fence post, this might be the stuff for you. There you go. There you have it.